Hi, and welcome to the Sassy Mares podcast, where we dive into the most controversial topics in the equestrian world.
We give our unfiltered opinions and say the things that others won't.
With 4 hosts from different backgrounds, we bring a mix of perspectives, experiences, and even a few debates.
So saddle up, it's going to be a fun one.
Hi, and welcome to the Sassy Mares podcast. I'm Robin.
I'm Amy.
I'm Ellie.
And today's controversial topic is going to be the lack of regulation surrounding tack. So we will jump straight in with our first segment, which is the counter and controversy.
Let's jump in. No, let's jump in.
Jump in. So,
You're right.
I don't know. It's been a long day.
Sorry, I'll be nice and boring. Okay, this is an episode about tack.
That's what your face looks like in the episode anyway.
Sorry for having fun. Jeez. Anyways, tack. She's getting offended because, I don't know, maybe she's an ill-fit or tacker.
I get my stuff checked.
Literally just fitted. But yeah, so ill-fit and tack, lack of regulations and stuff. I think it's kind of crazy how you just be like, here's a horse, go nuts, put on whatever you want,
Yeah.
go wild, whatever bit you fancy, whatever weird size back to front bareback saddle pad you want to put on.
Yeah.
Go nuts. There's no rules.
Especially like regulating bodies as well.
Yeah.
Like when you're jumping or you're riding like within an organisation and they say that they care about how their tack is fitted, but they don't.
Yeah.
Like you see it all the time with like FEI level everything. Like show jumping, eventing and dressage. Their tack doesn't fit.
Have you seen the new noseband checker?
Which
that
is
they brought
so
out?
stupid. You do not need a little device to tell you if someone's noseband is too tight. You can see it with your two eyes.
There's a
the
device.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you slip it down the noseband. But it's like,
It looks like a doorstop.
literally. But if the noseband is digging into the horse's face, it's too tight.
But I think they need proof to be able to put, like, you can't just go, I think it's too tight, so I'm telling you it's too
Yeah,
tight.
but it's not rules,
It's
it's
the thing. Yeah, you literally pony club. Like you learned that the whole way up.
But at least if there's now a definitive...
But I don't think
You
you should
know.
have got to this point where they
yeah.
need a doorstop to tell us if your bridle is too tight.
But I do think it's a good thing to introduce.
I want them to start doing it on flashes as well and grackles. Because you
Yeah.
should not be able to see an indent in your horse's face.
Oh, God,
Oh,
yeah.
if Alex was here,
Yeah,
talking
she'd be
about
going,
And the
flashes.
nostrils are like this size.
yeah, literally. It's like, I see that, sometimes in cross country, it's like you put like the nasal strips on for better airflow.
Yeah.
Mate, take your flash off, your horse should be able to breathe. Like,
For some reason, I thought you meant the rider. She's like,
they're like, oh, breathe so good. No, it's on the horses, like the nasal strips, and it's like,
sorry.
no, it's okay. Because like, if you've got a nasal strip on your horse, but you have all your flash, you couldn't even get like a millimeter bug down it,
But yeah, it's like, shit, my path.
You know what I mean? Like, no wonder the horse can't breathe and nasal strip's not going to help it.
Yeah.
And like, do you know what? I'm all for, like, the thing is, as well, I'm all for a nice wee saddle pad. And like, if you want a blingy brow band, that tear away, do whatever. But you can't be like, oh, I love how a pelham looks. I know my
Yeah.
horse is totally fine in a snaffle, but I'm
Is
going to
that a
buck this
thing?
in.
People
Yeah.
like, oh, they look
Yes.
nice.
No, because when I was younger, I used to like breastplates, so I had Pepsi in a breastplate, she didn't need it. But
Yeah.
I liked how it looked. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I like the look of a breastplate.
Yeah, I do too,
Yeah, they're nice. But it's
Yeah.
like, I think
I'm not going to go buy one.
No, I'm at the stage now where it's like, I'll only put tack on for a reason.
Yeah.
Like you said, a sparkly brow band, that doesn't change
Yeah.
how a horse feels about its ridden work. It doesn't know that it's got a sparkly
Yeah,
brow band
It could
on.
feel better. It could be like,
And yet
look at
people
me.
Touch yourself in the mirrors and it's like, wow.
People will probably judge more at
Yeah.
that than...
I'm
other
more
things?
talking
Yes.
about
Actually.
put your flashy brow bands on, whatever you want. But if your horse's martingale is so tight that it can't lift its head, you need to be the one being looked at, not me and my
Yeah.
flashy brow bands.
Yeah, and it's like, like the flowery ones and
Yeah.
things like that. The ones that are out there
Mhm.
and they look a lot different. People are more likely to be like, oh, why is she wearing flowers rather than, oh, why is that noseband so tight? Like,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
judge based
That's
on looks.
how normalised
But
it
like,
is now.
If my horse is going around and like it could have a unicorn brow band on for all I care.
Unreal. Would love that.
Yeah, me too, might get one. I'll check on eBay later. But like, who cares? It's not impacting how she feels about her work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, the spurs on your horse's side, the spur marks on your horse's ribs kind of are. Like,
Yeah.
reflect on yourself.
Yeah.
It's so judgmental, tack. And like, I'm not against needing stronger tack. I'm very pro snaffle.
Yeah.
And I think horses should be able to go in a snaffle. I'm not saying for everything. I understand horses might get stronger if they're out hunting. They might get stronger if they're cross country. At the end of the day, safety is paramount.
Yeah.
If you need a stronger bit, you need a stronger bit. But you should be able to school your horse in a snaffle.
I think
Yeah.
everyone should aim for a snaffle.
Yes, that should be the end goal.
Yeah.
To be light. But
Yeah.
I understand sometimes, like, especially like, if you're a smaller person riding a bigger horse and you need a little bit of a pull, because if it gets deep to a solid fence, it's going to have a rotation and
Yeah.
you're both down, which is fine. But we should all be aiming to use the least amount of tack and the most humane tack as possible,
Yeah.
in my opinion, anyway.
Like, I moved Benny into a snaffle really quick, really, really quick. But I can't jump in a snaffle just yet.
Yeah, but hopefully when
Yeah.
the time comes, you know, it's something you could even try. But at the end of the day, if you feel unsafe, then you need to put yourself in what's
Yeah.
safe. But I think there's a lack of understanding around the mechanics of tack.
Yeah.
People just think this does that and they'll do it, but they don't understand
How it does
what
it.
it actually is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my biggest grievance is a Dutch gag.
Yeah, you get
I
this.
just think they're mechanically unsound, and I don't think they've any place to be around a horse, personally. That's what I'm saying. If you need a stronger bit, you need a stronger bit. But
just don't
there's
need that.
something kinder out there
Yeah.
than a Dutch gag. Especially in roundings, and especially when you don't have a curb strap on the back to stop it over rotating, and you're in the bottom ring and the whole bit is rotated in the horse's mouth and its face is awful. It looks
Yeah.
awful, and you're just like, look at me, I look so good. It's like, no, mate, your horse is in pain though.
I've seen loads of people stick like a Dutch gag in or a Pelham to be like, it goes on the bit.
Literally,
You're
the
like,
whole
does it
mechanics of
have a
though,
choice?
like,
And then as soon as it's snaffle, it's like, oh,
it's like evading the
It's
contact.
like being able, I can breathe.
yeah, it's
Give me
got
my
a nasal
head.
strip on.
Yeah, but it's just, yeah, I hate that when it's just putting it in a stronger bit to get it on the bit. That's not on the bit. It's a false contact.
Yeah.
Ride your horse better, get a dressage lesson. Like,
Yeah.
you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Or like, it's like, I'm not saying, you know, you've bought a horse, rides in a Dutch gag. I'm not saying come out tomorrow in a snaffle.
No,
Like, don't kill
there's-
yourself.
there's, like, yeah, like the scales of training. Like, you need to first figure out the horse. If you just bought this horse,
Yeah.
and then work your way down and talk to a trainer and stuff. Like, you shouldn't be swapping tack on a brand new horse when you've just moved it yard. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But you should be actively wanting to better your animal.
And don't just go, oh, he came home yesterday, he's in a Dutch gag. I've put him in a snaffle today, he's a bit fresh, so I'm just going to keep him in the Dutch gag now.
Yeah, you
Like,
need
everything takes
take
time.
time.
If the first
Mhm.
ride and it doesn't go as well, you just have stuff to work on. You have homework, and homework's not a
Yeah.
bad thing.
No, homework's how you improve, isn't it?
Yeah.
How you improve your horse and its well-being.
And I actually didn't know until you mentioned it that people were using shorter martingales.
Have you seen it?
I
You've seen
didn't
it now. I
know.
pointed it out though.
Well, now they've pointed it out, yeah, but I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh my
Like,
God,
I
is it?
couldn't.
Okay.
It is becoming increasingly popular on socials. We see when I scroll my For You page, the amount of martingales that I see that are illy fitted. Illy, is that a word?
Illy?
Just
Illy?
ill-fitted.
Ill-fitted.
Yeah.
The amount of martingales that I see that are ill-fitted is becoming astonishing. There is so many. Your horse should be able to put its head up and not have its mouth ripped off it.
Yeah.
Or jumping in them.
Yeah, and that is something that really, really bothers me, is when your horse lands from a fence and it's getting its mouth pulled because your
Yeah.
martingale's too
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah.
That's
I
cruel.
can't stand it.
My martingale's stretchy.
That's really, really good. There's a girl I see in the show jumping that has, you know, like the parts that come from like the chest up through the rein.
Yeah.
And hers are pure stretch.
Yeah, that's,
I-
yeah,
I
it's
think
like,
they're really good.
I don't even know what the fabric that is, but it's like a bungee
Yes,
cord
bungee,
thing.
yeah.
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 I think they're really good, and I really like hers. I've never seen them for sale though. I've actually never seen them in the shops. I don't know where she got hers,
I'll
but
tell you after the pod.
Are you gatekeeping?
use code Ellie for 10% off your Mystery Martingale.
Mystery martingale.
But no, I've noticed that too recently, is the martingale's not being fitted, and it's something that you learn literally from the get go. Like, if you've been in pony club, you should know. I never went to pony club, but even I know how to fit a martingale. The loop should be able to go up to the throat latch
Yeah.
area. You know,
Yeah.
like where the jaw is. It should be
Yeah.
able to go up there. And if the loop doesn't touch, it's too tight.
Yeah.
And if you've got a contact on your horse's, you know, on your bit, and your rein is almost like getting pulled down in a part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Again, it's too tight.
Yeah.
Loosen your martingale.
Yeah.
It's just mad that it just seems to be getting so popular.
I feel like we're working from the top of like the front of the horse back.
That's a good way to do it.
So we've
What's next,
done.
boots?
Oh, don't start me on friggin'
And wraps.
boots. See stupid flippin' fluffy
I
boots.
hate fluffy boots.
Oh, and people are like,
Big fluffy boots on a gypsy cob that already has big fluffy
Yeah.
boots built in. It's just
Like-
its legs are just
multiple things, right? Not everything needs a pair of boots. Groundbreaking. Not everything needs a pair of boots. Why is no one concerned about how hot their horse's legs are? Like, I got a pair of boots for Benny to jump him in because, you know, he's Benny. And I literally was like, I had them in my hand. I was like, nice and light.
Yeah,
And then, so it was like how light it was if it would hold water.
that's
So
a big thing.
thinking
Yeah.
for cross country. and no fluff, but
Or
soft
just
enough.
fill up with water.
Yeah, he's like
weighing
dragging.
him down.
I can't jump, Mom.
Stops at every fence. But like that and fluff, didn't want fluff.
I understand fluff in the perspective of, oh, my horse has sensitive legs when they're clipped.
Well, now don't get me wrong. That's what this sounds like. I have fluffy overreach boots.
No, but I think fluffy overreach boots is slightly different because there's
No, let's cancel her.
I have
no, but there's nothing in that area that can overheat and
yeah.
become
Yeah,
damaged
yeah,
to the
yeah.
point of ill repair.
But
The
equally,
tendons can.
so I have fluffy overreach boots for him to be turned out in while he's got his remedial shoes on, and I tried non-fluffy boots, rubbed them raw.
Yeah.
The only thing that didn't rub them was the fluffy ones, and
So
I have
in
a
that
pair.
case, though, that's welfare, that's medical,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I think that's just. But if you're just buying fluffy tendon and fetlock boots to compete in because they look good,
Yeah, they're cute.
but you're not understanding the impact that it's causing on the horse's tendons and ligaments, they're going to get hot, and when a tendon is hot, it's more likely to be like damaged and
Yeah.
get hurt. And a part of me always wonders about the cleanliness factor of those boots. Like, I know today I was out jumping and the arena was a wee bit wet because it had been watered in the morning, and her back boots were filthy. Could you imagine getting sand in the
like
fluff?
right in there,
Would
yeah.
that not rub a sensitive leg more?
Yes. Like, do you ever go to the beach and then there's sand in your shoes? And it
Yeah.
just annoys you so much.
So it's like every time Pepsi jumps, her boots, especially her competition boots, because I don't use back boots at home, we only use them in competition because I tend to do tighter turns, stuff like that. I
Yeah.
tend to be jumping bigger as well and faster, so I like to try and protect her legs where I can.
Yeah.
They are always washed after every single use to get the sand out of them.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, you can't do that with those fluffy ones. Because they would just be so soggy and wet for days.
And then is it going to lose the fluff if it's not real fluff?
Well, equally, to be fair, so my overreach boots, again, I had to wash them after every use because they would rub him.
Yes.
And you can do a good job. Like, I used to like blast them with the hose and then scrub in the sink and everything, and then had to air dry.
Yes.
But like it was possible.
But do you think people are doing that?
the people
Well, no,
that
because
are,
I'm insane.
the
But
Yeah.
people that are picking tack and boots and stuff like that because it looks cute,
For like fashionability, not
Yeah.
function.
they're not going to care that much about whether there's a bit of sand in the boot. They'll just clack, clack. They're all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like,
And a lot of times, if you've got multiple horses, you don't have multiple boots. A lot of the times you buy size full or size cob and they go for multiple horses throughout the day.
Yeah.
So again, those boots are
Ugh.
sweaty and dirty, and then you're putting them on another horse. And I just feel like if you fluff for sensitivity,
you need to think about the actual factors
Do you
before
know-
sensitivity.
yeah, it doesn't make sense to me at all. But on the topic of like overheating tendons, obviously she's got tendon and fetlock boots when I jump. She has tendon home and tendon out and about, but she only has fetlock when we're competing. But her legs, the first thing I do when I come out of that ring, girth, Dad, like literally like
Yeah.
that, boots ripped off.
Yeah.
Dad rubs the back of her legs and all. I think it's just getting the hair flat and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think blood flow is really going to change because they're not tight enough to stop
Yeah.
blood flow.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like for your mental, like know that you're doing something.
Yeah.
Feels them, lets me know if they're hot, lets me know if one's hotter than the other,
Yeah.
and then tacks off and her legs are iced and she is walked with 15-20 minutes. Dad
you
just
do
does
the
laps.
gel, the gel,
Gel,
stuff?
yeah, and
Yeah.
her gel too. And if it's a really, really hot day, they'll be
I have gels
Washed.
now. Yeah.
well washed, as in like they're dirty, they're washed, but you know,
Yeah.
cold water. And Dad will
Yeah.
I'll get more buckets and Dad will walk, and then we'll do them, and then he'll walk. So that's what we do when it's hot or if her legs are hot.
Yeah.
Thankfully, her legs don't get hot. And
Maybe
then-
it's because of these things though.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you
You have
do
all-
preventative measures.
You've
Yeah.
got all these steps in place to make sure they don't.
So that's
Yeah.
what I do with boots. But if we're working our way down the horse,
Wait, before we go off
Oh.
boots, what about like the dressage bandages and stuff?
oh, polo wraps. I don't think there's a place for polo wraps.
I don't really see the purpose. The only time I've ever used them is if
Yeah.
I'm bandaging a leg.
That's
like a
what I
cut.
was going to say.
Yeah.
Like medically.
Yeah.
Or travel boots. People use them with pads and then
Yeah.
bandage for boots. But again, if you're traveling, this is one thing that actually was in my head when we were going to go away. I think her travel boots are going to be on for 6 hours.
Mm.
Again, as soon as we got out of the box, Dad overtaking the boots off, rubbing her legs and walking her.
Yeah.
And we stopped halfway at an Apple Green to get fuel, and we went in and felt her legs, and they were fine.
Yeah.
But if you're traveling for longer, like a lot of the times you use those boots because they're more padding, so you're
Yeah.
traveling for longer distances. Do the legs get hot?
Yeah.
You'd like to think if you're buying them, there'd be research put into them to say that they're well ventilated, because that's the purpose
But
of them.
the thing is if you look up any research on polar wraps, I don't know the exact figures, but I think they're proven to be hold heat more than a tendon
Something
or a
tells
brushing
me
weight.
I've seen something like
Yeah.
that as
Yeah,
well.
like there's been tests done on them, and really there's not much use, maybe, Like I get there maybe be more support in them because you can maybe do them a bit more tight.
Well, again, that's the only time. So I used them. Benny had cut his leg, and
Sorry.
he's poking my foot.
You're killing mine.
Oh, sorry.
It was numb.
Well, he had cut his leg, and I caught it like almost just as it happened. And the vet was like, "Get that wrapped because that's going to go up like a balloon."
Yeah, and then it also probably helps infection because you're preventing.
I was keeping it
shavings
clean.
and
Well,
stuff,
I was
yeah.
keeping it clean with like, I'd bandaged it with your like, like actual like.
Normal bandage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bandage.
Like, is it Ganji or something?
Yeah, well, I had me and my little vet nurse kit. Got to pick my colour vet wrap. And then like, but see the actual like is it polo
Polo wrap.
was
The polo. It's just polo.
the polo
He just takes a polo and does cut.
healed.
You should have sent the polo to your vet. He's like, "Oh, wrap that in a polo," and you just.
Or the tinfoil from there.
Sticking out of the wound. That's right.
Tinfoil, he's like summoning aliens.
His 4G hat on.
5G.
And then see, there was for the swelling, and see, to be fair, he got really like it was really hurting him, dear love him, and he got really hard to bandage, and we took it off, and I was like, we just have to, and we took it off, and his leg just went.
Yeah.
I remember coming up next day, and I was like,
Yeah. I think that's different though, for bandaging to keep swelling down or you're bandaging to keep a leg clean. That's different than bandaging for aesthetics.
yeah,
Especially in ridden work, because there's a difference. Okay, yes, there's still going to be heat in the leg if you're bandaging and the horse is standing in, but there's going to be a significantly higher amount of heat in the leg if you're out there exercising it.
yeah.
A lot of the times, those bandages are used, I would say, probably flat.
Yeah,
or
dressage.
You
Always
see them in
dressage,
the
yeah.
jumping.
But then, see, to be fair, I take photos for Dressage Ireland, and I haven't seen anyone wear them.
You can't wear them in the ring though, so it would be the
But I-
effort of putting them on to then take them off for going into the ring.
But people will warm up
Brushing
in
boots.
brushing boots and overreachers.
Yeah.
But I've never seen
I think
anyone.
it's the effort of polo
Yeah.
wraps, and they're so much
You have to
easier to do wrong.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to do it perfectly,
Yeah.
or you've wrecked.
Yeah,
you're
you
wrecked
can
the
do
horse,
more
like-
damage. That's another reason
Yeah.
why I wouldn't use them. Like I know any boot can do damage, but you've less likelihood of
Room
putting
for error.
damage with as long as you're putting the boot on the correct way.
Yeah.
Like brushing boots can go on the wrong way if you're not smart, like bone to tendon.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
tendon to bone. So it's like
There was
Like
such-
realistically, why would you bother?
With
Such a
polo
hassle.
wraps.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I was going to say. There was such a rise of those in like
matchy days.
the
Yeah.
early matchy days. Before it was base layers and saddle pads, it was air bonnets, saddle pads, and polo wraps.
Yeah.
polo wraps.
And I think that's when they like really grew in popularity. People were wearing them for no reason, just for the fact that like, oh, my horse is saddle pad and its ears.
It
and-
reminded me of when you see the fluffy cobs in them and like the wee feathers at the end.
Yeah.
It's like the Grinch toes. Yeah. Like that's when I think they got really big. And I don't know. I think that faded away whenever they all come out with like the matching.
They came out with boots, brushing boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think the
there's something
research
to
might
that.
have come out on the
You
polo
should-
wraps, and then they went onto the boots.
Yeah, it was like a phase sort
It
of.
was
Yeah,
a bit
'cause
of a
they
phase,
don't
wasn't it?
really seem to bring out. I think they do for the dressage sets, but you don't really ever see them anymore.
Yeah.
No,
It's only when they're being advertised in like
Yes.
the dressage
Yep.
photos.
Yeah.
You see them, but I don't really see people ever use them anymore.
I've actually seen them for a show and warm up, keeping white socks.
Smart. Yes, you see people go to bed in those, like the horses obviously. You see them at like shows, they go to bed in their wee polos and stuff. That's interesting. But it wouldn't be for me.
No, I
Wouldn't
don't
be-
like them. There's too much that can go wrong. If I would not be able to know how to wrap that perfectly.
No.
And I am like
Yeah.
I'm able to be able to say that, and I'm too green in polo wraps to even try. But I think
Yeah.
the problem I have with those is people just like
Don't use them.
I just wouldn't be
stick them
bothered.
on.
No.
Yeah, there's
a
a lot of
habit.
effort for what. Just put a bit on if you need it.
Yeah. So working our way down the horse.
Around the
You're
saddle next.
Well, no, what's next?
I would say girth and saddle.
Yeah, what else are you putting in
Just
shoulder?
I would say
Yeah, because we
girth and
already did
saddles.
the
Martingale?
breastplate, didn't we?
Yeah.
A couple
Yeah.
of breastplates. Yeah.
Yeah, breastplates and martingales.
Next, saddle.
Well, I
Oh
guess
Jesus!
we didn't really talk about breastplates.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah, I guess
Leg,
the worst thing I know about
breastplate,
breastplates is if you fit them too tight and the horse doesn't have the shoulder movement. And then the same thing if they're fitted too loose underneath. It's the same as martingale though.
yeah.
Getting your legs.
I think they do have their
Oh,
place.
of
I was
course we
actually
go back.
speaking. I was speaking about this the other day. So I think they do have their place. If you're going cross country, or whatever, and your saddle does slip back, you know they do have their place.
Again, but it's if you need it.
Yeah, but the way so this was explained to me. Bear with. It was something to do with like the way it pulls the saddle. It pulls the pressure.
On the shoulder.
Yeah, like it pulls the front half of the
like
saddle
the
pressure
D-rings
down.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yes.
Do you know what I
That makes
mean?
sense.
Yes,
So your pressure isn't being like evenly distributed to the back. It's just
straight down on the wither then.
yeah.
I actually wouldn't have thought that ever before.
Neither did I until I asked the other day.
No, and I know there's like a new sort of breastplate-ish sort of thing coming out that they're trying to create to allow a better range of their shoulder.
Yeah.
But I don't really see them. I know they tried to take off, but they were so expensive,
Yeah.
and then people just weren't buying into them. But I
That's
don't-
the unfortunate thing about load things in the
tack,
hospital.
yeah, tack and everything. But I don't think I have much else to say on a breastplate. Just fit it right, but same as martingale.
If it's
Seems
needed, it's
everything.
needed. Yeah,
Fit it right.
End
yeah.
episode, fit it right.
Yeah, if
Put
you
it
need
right, don't use it if you
don't
need it.
don't use it.
Yeah.
But it's girths and saddles.
Girth saddle pads.
Oh, Jesus.
I know the girths has recently been coming out different shape and different cuts of girth suit different shapes of horses.
Yeah.
I don't know an awful lot about it, but when I got my saddle fitted, I was recommended a different shape of girth for Pepsi, and we've got it, and I have no issues with it.
I've always found though that like the girth thing isn't that big of a deal in my
Like
experience.
fitting girths.
Yeah, you
No.
more fit the saddle and any old girth will do. But
Yeah.
obviously it would make sense for like a wide horse or a big
Really
bellied horse.
narrow
Or,
in
Yeah.
front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was sort of thinking, whenever I was buying mine, I was sort of thinking, right,
What saddles
well,
have we all got? No one's got a monoflap, no?
no.
No, all
I
dual flaps.
literally wouldn't even know.
No, where's your girth go? Does it go underneath the flap or does it go down? Like, do you have a flap to lift up and put your girth on?
On my,
Your dressage is a monoflap.
yeah.
So yes, that's the only thing I know about girths is to be careful is the monoflap girth because obviously they're lower down. If you do them too high, it can pinch them.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know.
Dressage girths. I have never ridden a dressage saddle. How the hell do you
You
do it?
did. You rode in mine.
Do you have a dressage though?
Yes, you rode in mine.
Did I?
Yes, and you were like, "Get me off this horse! I hate it."
I
hate the saddle, I hate the
love
horse.
Both.
dressage
I'll get
saddles.
photo evidence. Don't worry, guys. You were
I
like
love
this.
dressage saddles.
What I was
them.
going to say was I just like I always just look at people and be like, you need a groom at all times. How do you put your girth up?
It's
hard.
really
You're like,
flexible.
I literally, like, I'm like dangling out the side.
I find that so impractical. But then
It's
I'm not
really
a-
hard.
I'm not a dressage girly, but
Whenever I'll like put his on and then like walk him and then put it up and then get on.
Yeah, you like tuck
makes
them
more
in and all.
sense.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I don't really have much else to say about girths. The same thing. Make sure it fits properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I was buying mine, I was thinking like I don't need a fluffy girth. It's gonna make him
No,
sweaty.
I think there's a time and a place for a fluffy girth.
I had one
Um,
on Merino. He had a
yeah.
fluffy girth because he could be a bit sensitive for his belly.
I bought a new girth from actually should have been a reputable tack shop close to us, and it was their own brand, and it was sold to me to be this great amazing thing, and I put it on Pepsi and I rode her in it once and it was fine. And then I think I bought it and then I went and did cross country schooling, and you'd think like a girth to girth, you shouldn't have to break in a girth.
Yeah.
How are you going to break in a girth? Rubbed her raw on both sides, cut
Aw.
the life out of her. So that's when I went into a fluffy girth for a while. Just worried about that reopening and
Yeah.
stuff. Obviously, I let it heal. I wasn't going to ride her with raw cuts on her side, but they healed over. But they didn't grow hair back. But I put
Yeah.
the fluffy girth.
Like
on
they
to
have their
prevent them.
place.
Yeah,
But I was
they're
just thinking,
really
like,
sweaty.
Yeah.
And then the cleanliness thing as well.
Yeah.
How do you the ones that rip off?
Well, I was like, I don't need it. And then also, like, I was just thinking, do you know, like wee things like if sand gets clogged in this,
Exactly. Again, it's the same thing with the boots. You're gonna cause more rubs, surely.
And then
Especially
if
that's
you're-
sensitive.
as well, if you have a leather girth, you need to make sure you check that for cracks.
Cracking, yeah,
Oh,
all the time.
You need to make
That
sure you
freaks
check
me
that.
out, freaks me
Yeah.
out. The cracks and then the little like there's a wee crack and then you see the wee tiny tuft of hair in the crack and you're like,
Oh no, it pulled them. It waxed their titties.
yeah, that happened to I would say every single loan I've ever had.
Those old, really, really old, like fake plasticky ones did that too.
Yeah.
Remember they were everyone had one of those back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, and
They used to split too.
Yeah.
I love my girth though. It's actually a Shire's girth. They
Actually,
should sponsor us, but anyway.
I would love them to sponsor us. I'll do the work for it.
Yeah, well, she's got a photographer here. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah,
Use code Sassy Mares.
I'll like,
What if someone tries?
But yeah, I
that's their fault.
I got everything. Yeah, I love my girth. Mine's so soft now.
I was recommended, I said, use by the person I bought the saddle off to get a stud girth. Now I ride a barefoot, non-jumping horse. And I thought
Yeah.
that was so weird, but she said because
For pressure
she
distribution.
more.
was a wide horse, it was for pressure distribution, but I thought I would look like an absolute spoon.
But your saddle also didn't fit.
Yeah. Oh, let's go on to saddles.
Segway.
Yeah, saddle fitting. I'll be the first to say I don't know an awful lot about fitting a saddle. That's why I get a
Saddle
saddle
fitter?
fitter twice a year to look at my saddles.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're riding around, your saddle's bumping on your horse's back. Like, I think you should be able to tell.
I also think as well, like, So I had got Benny's saddle fitted whenever I first got him, and he was in a 5'9" rug, and then after everything, he was then in a 6'6" rug, and I put two and two together and went, saddle's probably not going to fit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get it checked, and then I was brushing him one day, and he was a wee bit reactive on his left side. So I got the saddle fitter, and I was like, listen, he's a wee bit reactive on his left side, and he wants to canter with his bumming to the left. So I think he doesn't want to stretch those muscles. And she took one look at it, and she was like, bang on. Yeah, she was like, and I said to her, like, it's been made narrower when he was this size, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, you're bang on. It's just very narrow.
Need it widened for him.
Need it widened, and he's been grand. Like, you know yourself, you can just use your brain a wee bit.
I have two bad saddle fitter stories. It kind of then does fall under the category of ill fit and tack.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't know any better. I went to a saddle fitter, again, very reputable one around here apparently, sold me a saddle for her when she was 4, and I went back in 6 months' time because obviously she was 4, she had grown and she in shape, and he was like, oh, the saddle's too long. And I was like, what do you mean it's too long? And he goes, yeah, it's like past her rib or something. And I was like, he's like, where'd you get it from? And I was like, you sold it to me 6 months ago.
Oh.
And he's like, grabbed the saddle off.
Started beatboxing.
Literally, I walked away and he was fuming, and I was like, I don't want the saddle anymore. And then come back,
Get rid of that.
give me a new one. And then I ended up selling it to him and got my money back, and then went to another saddle fitter. And I wanted a certain type of saddle, if it fitted her, of course, and it did fit her. And was riding away, and she was really, really tense and really upset and really like shooty offy, like not bolting, but like shooting. We were like, what is wrong? And I was like, when a lunch didn't happen when I was sitting on our bed, and I was like, something's wrong. Can I not ride? Like, what's wrong? And I was sitting, I had someone put their hand underneath it. The guy hadn't noticed 2 spiky points in the saddle. So when I was sitting on it, it was pinching her ribs.
My God.
And that's why she was shooting off.
No
He
wonder.
had noticed it, yeah. I got him out, and I was like, what's this? And he's like, oh. Beatboxed again. Yeah. And he had to, like, it was like, I think the stitching had come away underneath it. Maybe my bad, I should have been checking it, but when you're buying a saddle from someone,
You assume they've
you
checked
literally had just gotten, you thought it fitted when they were literally out and felt me on riding. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a
But
bit
then
mad.
again, maybe I should be more aware, but like I said, I don't know an awful lot about saddle fitting, so you're going people that you're told or
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to
reputable.
trust them. These are the people
Yeah.
you're going to for help. Look, I don't know how to
Yeah.
really tell. Help me out. Okay, I'll stab your horse and give you a long one.
Literally. Then we got a third saddle fitter who I've been using now for a couple of years, and I haven't had any issues. So, all kind of going well. But yeah, that'd be my saddle grievances.
My saddle story is a sad one.
Oh yeah, your saddle doesn't fit.
A tale as old as time.
I bought my saddle, and I actually, thinking back, it's really weird because it does fit completely different now to what it did then.
Yeah.
And I don't know, she did lose a bit of weight, but not an awful lot, but I think she muscled up a wee bit more or something.
Mhm.
But I was like, yeah, put a different girth on it and this will be fine. I was like, okay. And it wasn't. And it just doesn't fit. Like, it just didn't fit. And then I've had like 9 million things happen that I haven't ridden her in like about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So I haven't been rushing to get the saddle fitter out. And I was trying to get more weight off her, but now I'm thinking I'll not just get a saddle. I think she just needs a different saddle. To be honest, I
Yeah.
think there's no point trying to fit it. I told Ellie, started freaking out because she thought I was going to take out the gullet and bash it with a hammer to widen it and put it back in.
Hold
I
on,
was like,
hold on. That's because you told me you were going to take out the
yeah,
gullet with a hammer.
I was like, listen, what's the big deal? Like, I'll find. She's like, it's an adjustable gullet. It was one of them Throgood ones. Is it Thorogood or Throgood, something like that.
Yeah.
They're usually adjustable gullet. And she's like, is it? And I was like, I actually don't think it is, but I'll just take the gullet out, bash it with a hammer, widen it, and put it back in. She was like, Amy, no. I was like, it'll be fine.
Ron, what do you think about this?
You could just maybe, I don't know, go online and find a wider gullet.
I said that's what I sent her.
Yeah.
I was like, here's a link.
Why widen it? I can just bash my own one.
You literally can get the wee fitters and all for those.
I
like,
literally
lay them over their
sent-
back.
I sent
Yeah.
her the link, all the different colours and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if that one actually is adjustable. If it is adjustable, I will literally do that in the
The saddle
meantime.
fitter will be able to tell you. Like, you
Yes.
can call them out, they'd be able to tell you if it'll.
But I was going to hold off getting the saddle fitter till
Just to get the hammer out.
just buy a new one.
Yeah.
I think, because I just don't think it fits. It did. See, whenever I first got it and it was on her back, like the saddle girl was like trotting her up and down, letting me watch, seeing that it didn't flip flop on her back, and it didn't. But now it does. Now it flip flops on her back when nobody's on her.
No, just get
But like,
some
how
action
did that
at
even
it.
happen?
No idea. Horses are horses. They change shape all the time.
The red flags are really billowing in the wind for whatever
Yeah.
comes to saddles like.
But I'm saying, well, I guess red flags is just, well, for me would be, doesn't move forward, doesn't move back, and doesn't go doink 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 on the back.
Flip flopping.
And whenever
Flip-flopping.
whenever the spook are under their belly.
Yeah, but then that goes into girth too. Your girth tight.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be my things with saddles. And you do see it on socials, and I think you see it quite a lot actually when people go for when they're sponsored by a brand of saddle. You
Yeah.
cannot tell me that brand of saddle fits every horse in your yard when they're all completely different.
Yeah.
Or when people have a saddle for them that they put on all of their horses.
yeah.
That I don't understand how that works.
Well, that's supposedly a thing that like
it's quite a
people
big
who
American thing, isn't it?
yeah,
That's
and
a here thing.
Yeah, it's a
Is
here
it?
thing.
That's a
yeah.
really here thing.
People that produce or have a lot of horses just fit the saddle out.
Just
more
put
saddle
another
pads.
saddle pad if they
Half
have.
pads. Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, and I see there's like sponsored riders that are all in the same like brand of saddle. I'm like, I just don't get how one brand of saddle can fit your horse when they're all completely different like types and shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. But then
What do we know?
with their hashtag spawned by them, like
Yeah.
They're getting that bread. I
Yeah.
don't know who we.
us paying their bills.
yeah. Paying themselves.
But working, I think that's everything then.
Oh, what about one of those tail things? What do you call them?
Cruppers.
Cruppers. Yep.
And if you're going on cruppers, you also have daisy reins too, which is the front side. It's like a horse putting its head down to eat. And you used to get those in like weekends.
Do they count as tack?
It's tack.
I know what it's like.
But you're not really using it.
Yeah.
I don't see cruppers though. Cruppers was such like an early 2000s
Riding
riding
school,
school thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Remember I told you I was going to get a crupper and you said you'll fall out with me?
I just think they're ugly.
I can't be that comfortable putting.
Do you know what? They really make me think of mules. And I don't know why. It just feels like a very donkey, muley type thing. Maybe, do you know why I'm probably thinking that? Driving things.
Yeah.
Probably.
I just don't like the look of them.
yeah, they're a bit
First up.
eye-catching, and I just don't know how it'd be comfortable.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
like
something
around
around
their
your
tail. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like thong.
Oh my god, it's a horse song. Cruppers.
Even sounds even lumpy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Crupper.
Oh, we got your crupper on. So this is like a
Oh.
horsey thong. That's so silly. But yeah, I don't really think there's anything else. Tack. I think we've covered.
Going through it all more, just the regulations now. So, like,
Mhm.
in the different disciplines, there's
Mhm.
different regulations,
They're non-existent in show jumping.
and they're non-existent in show jumping.
Yeah, you literally could put any bit in your horse in show jumping. Like,
Really,
no one's
you can
gonna
just-
say anything.
That's it. You can just.
I think
whatever.
there's rules for maybe ponies, but I don't actually think there is. I think it's more rider wear.
Yeah.
Like with like I think in pony club you have to get like your spur license or like your
Yeah.
spur certificate.
Spur license.
You have to
You
go
do?
through like a test to get to be able to wear spurs.
You do?
But I think in like the pony jumping, you have to be over a certain age or certain classes to be able to wear spurs. I think. I don't know. I don't do ponies, but I just feel like there's no regulations for bits.
And why do you
Yeah.
think that is though? Why do you think they just let you ride on whatever you want in show jumping
I have
particularly?
no idea.
Like, is it just?
I don't know.
Yeah, I also like even dressage, like obviously like bitless and stuff isn't allowed. Why?
Because apparent like the rule or something or like the traditional definition of a horse working correctly is the acceptance of the bit.
That's wild.
So
Should-
a horse can't be working effectively or correctively, you know, if it doesn't have a bit in its mouth.
But that's like
That's
so
dumb.
old timey.
Should we not be looking about the way the horse moves?
It's
and
horse
that?
back in its
welfare.
body and how it
yeah,
looks
how
in
it's
a frame,
engaging.
rather
Yeah.
than whether it's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's something along those lines basically is why bits are mandatory in dressage.
and then also when you reach a certain class, you have to ride in a double. Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Surely it's more impressive to be able to do a
Do it in a
Grand
snaffle.
Prix and a snaffle.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And why did all dressage riders wear flashes if they're in snaffles? You very rarely ever see someone in a snaffle without, but there'll be a double without. Doubles
Me
can't.
in my snaffle with my flash. I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
Answer the question then.
Yeah, come on, Ellie. Why? Why, Ellie?
because my horse goes, "Ah."
But
But then does that not mean he doesn't like the bit if they do that?
He loves his bit.
Oh yeah, we had this
why did
conversation
you tell you
before.
that?
Have you? Oh my, probably haven't seen him.
He's like, I love it, mummy. Thank you.
I thought like playing with it and opening their mouth meant they didn't really like it.
No, he doesn't open his mouth. He just goes, "Wah."
Yeah.
Like it's just the tongue. He just
Yeah.
won't put it away.
He's swinging his tongue about. It's so silly.
And he's like, "Oh, Annie, you're gonna bite your tongue."
Yeah, oh god, and then you're bleeding, and then
And then I'm abuser.
yeah, you're getting pulled up because your horse got blood in his mouth. Like,
But even at that, like I don't put mine. Like mine's probably too loose to be effective.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. I can. But then I would say, why have you got it on?
Yeah, because it's a comfort blanket.
Something you're just used to having. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a placebo for you then, almost.
I
Yeah,
put a flash on for a while because
Yeah, I tried one this year and Pepsi went awfully, so I took it off.
yeah, I had to put it on because Elsie faltered the hacks. And Olivia was there and she said she watched her. She just went, ah, and started running. She was like, you need to put a flash on her. She opened her mouth and ran. It was so
Silly.
They put the flash on and again it was so wide. Like she could just go
Yeah.
and run again. She wasn't.
But like going back to like the show jumping, you literally could have any bit and bridle combination and it's fine. Draw reins. We didn't talk about draw
How
reins.
we miss draw reins.
I just remember that draw reins, bungees, all of those.
Jumping in draw reins is my favourite activity,
You
guys. I love to jump in
you
draw
would
reins.
love
Clip
to
that,
come
Alex.
You'd love to come watch the big SGI classes
They jump in that.
in the warm up, yeah.
Ugh, how ugly is that?
Everyone right?
dirty,
No.
dirty people.
People would be like, "Oh, 'cause my horse you can't control it."
Control it then.
Good at.
Yeah, like just go down a level. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, you're in the meter class, and it's like your horse is in draw reins. I'm like, girl, it's a meter. Calm down. Like it's not that important.
Ugh, me, I saw me there, I'm like,
Crossbow class drawings.
No, draw reins I have a grievance with, and I have used them in the past because I was told by instructors to use them, and I've jumped in them in the past because I was told by instructors to jump with them.
Cancelled.
Hashtag cancel me. I love to be cancelled.
There's so many things I can be cancelled for.
why can we not just like use a wee pole on the ground or a wee bit of groundwork or like
Yeah.
is that
But
really
it's-
all that bad?
This is going back to again. I've said about this in previous episodes. Is like I didn't know any better, and when you're
Yeah.
going to instructors that are qualified and they're doing this amount of work and like at this level that you're actively seeking advice from, why would you be like, huh? When you don't know
Yeah.
any better.
I think the theme of this entire podcast is literally professionals aren't good enough.
No, they need to update their knowledge and actually put horse welfare first. But a lot of them are like, if my students and I am getting the results, it looks good for me.
Yeah.
I would love to just go off on one right now.
Yeah.
A future episode, possibly.
So yeah, I think draw reins and bungees, not really for me, but I'll open hands up instead of used them before. Because I've been told by professionals to use them that have got results. So who am I when I was young to be like,
Yeah.
actually?
Excuse me.
But yeah,
I was told to use a German string for lunging.
I'm not a fan of those personally.
I don't use them, but I would like I did when I was told to.
Same, I've done it too
Funny
as
name.
well.
Yeah.
And I've used the Pessoa and stuff, and I won't use them again. I don't lunge or anything now.
Just naked.
Naked
Yeah.
lunges. Yeah. Just hair colour lunchtime.
I don't even have
Maybe a bridle if I'm going
You've got a
crazy.
lunch pen, I don't know.
No.
I'm gonna let her loose in the school, and then you've seen that. Just like cantering and rearing about. I'm like, oh well,
And then like horse whisper come
yeah.
to me.
Pepsi, come to me. And she's like, Ellie.
Rob's like, I'm waiting in a carrot.
Why is she the biggest smick ever? Waiting in a carrot.
Probably would be, to be honest. But
Oh, you were talking about.
oh,
You think Pepsi would be a smick?
yeah.
I think she'd be like, Mama, I want the carrot.
She's 12.
Yeah, but you just baby her so much.
I think it should be like,
Ew.
Posh.
you didn't cut my carrot up into 3 centimeter cubes.
Yeah, she literally would be like that. My treat ball's not filled, Mummy.
Mother, my boots aren't pink.
Mummy, I've only had one stud muffin today. Do you have any more? That's not the point of this
I
episode.
smiled at you. Give me a treat.
Yeah, but back to SJI and show jumping and all that.
Oh,
the
So there's no regulations. Do what you want.
basically, as far as I'm aware,
That's wild. And is that the only discipline that's like? What else is that like?
yeah. Event.
Well, they'll have the dressage rules.
Yeah, but then I
and
guess
the
show
cross-
jumping then falls into there, so
And then the cross country rules. Is there cross country
And
rules?
obviously you can't
No.
event a horse before it's a certain age and stuff as well.
yeah, you can't. I don't think you can go cross country bitless either.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
then-
so.
if you can
Horse
put it
goes well
off,
and-
you can put it off.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't.
And then I know when you get to like bigger competitions like FEI, you do get tack checks, which is when we
Yeah.
were talking about the
Yeah,
noseband
Pony
thing.
Club do tack checks
Yeah.
as well.
But I know when we were the Olympics were on there, I was watching it, and there were people that got eliminated for blood on their
Yeah.
horses, but and like their nose bleeding and stuff.
Oh.
So it's like in the tack checks. But I just think it's funny that they have tack checks.
Dressage Ireland do tack checks.
But why are you not looking at their bits and their flashes that are like digging into their face? We're going back to the original parts of this.
I've
though,
seen
but
someone eliminated for an
FEI.
upside down bit.
good as they should be.
An
Like,
upside down hit.
you can't put your bed in, don't use one. Like, ask for help if you don't know how to fit something. But yeah, I remember watching the Olympics and the amount of tack that was so tight. But they have,
A checker.
but they're not. I just don't get that. Like, why have a checker and not have them to check your tack properly?
It's like the standards of what they're checking against are
But then
shit.
sometimes
Yeah.
I'm thinking, is it like because of the name of these people? Like, they're the best, they're the best of the best. They're the biggest of the biggest. Their country has paid for them to compete.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's put them there to compete. do they, as a steward and a tax checker, even though that's
Yeah.
their job, do they want to be the one that's like,
Yeah.
I eliminated Nick Skelton because his grapple
I
was
do
too
it.
tight?
Yeah.
You know what I mean though? Like,
Or
like
they also think there's, well, maybe shouldn't say this, but do you think there's also a possibility they're just like
paid off.
Paid off.
slipped a few quid?
Oh,
See, in the
the
horse
white
world?
envelopes are getting passed
Yeah.
about everywhere.
Would you doubt it in the horse world? Like?
Yeah.
I
You
know
pay
what
off your vet
happens.
to get your horse shrunk in the
I
14
I know what happens.
Shrunk.
I have seen envelopes getting passed about. Like,
Yeah,
crazy,
and we're
man.
not even talking like high level. We're just talking like Dressage Ireland.
it was not Dressage Ireland.
God,
It's like trying to win the
wasn't-
local,
no,
No, it
the
wasn't
local
even.
show.
It wasn't even a registered competition.
Just
Why?
like the next door local show. I know, just have a go.
It's for fun.
Have a go. Train your horse
why-
at home. Have a
I'm
go.
assuming it's showing. It was showing.
Obviously it's
Yeah,
showing.
Why are you paying off a local show judge? You're literally down the road. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's not a big
But
deal,
everyone
relax.
knows it happens.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, though. It's so stupid.
Can I just say, to clarify, I do not know any judges, no one I've ever been with. I do not know anyone that
But
has
you've
ever.
heard stories of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that's ever accepted a bribe.
I
I
would accept the bribe.
I would say it happens.
It depends what you're bribing me
100%.
for, like.
Yeah, and I say, like, it's a name game, isn't it, too?
Yeah.
Covered all basically how to check your tack and what to sort of look out for. We've also covered.
You know one thing I don't think we have here?
What?
Bridle or bit fitters.
We have a bit fitter.
They're becoming
But is there
more
not only
popular.
one?
Yeah, one in the whole of
Yeah.
of the north, anyway.
I
That
would
I
like
know
a
of.
wee bit fitter, you know.
Me too, I'd love a bit fitter.
I would like to see because
You can see if a saddle doesn't
Yeah.
fit, but you don't have
Can't-
eyes in
yeah.
your horse's gob. You're not going to be able to...
GoPro.
I go, whoop. It's dark in there, I can put a light on.
Did you see,
GoPro
did you
with
see
night
cameras
vision.
you swallow whenever you're doing like a colonoscopy?
Yeah,
Oh,
put
yeah.
one of those in their mouth.
Because
But it'd be good to get something. Like, we care so much about the saddle. But, like, if your horse is unhappy in their bit,
And how many bits is there? There are 9 million bits.
Oh,
9
jeez.
million.
Like you
Yeah.
could literally try 20 bits and your horse might still not like it,
Mhm.
and you've still got hundreds more to try.
it's good to have someone to come out and bring a variety of bits and you
Yeah.
tell them what you're doing and the problems
Yeah.
you're having and just see if they can make your horse go sweeter or more comfortable.
That seems to be more thing in England.
It is such a big
Yeah.
thing. And bridle fitters too. Like, as I'm saying, you work so hard to get your saddle fitted, checked and fitted, but it's so easy to misfit a bridle. Like, you shouldn't have the buckles on your bridle. They should be nowhere near your TMJ. But the amount of people that have their bridle buckle in the very, very top hole,
Yeah.
it shouldn't go past your eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then do you think
Really?
though, is there some sort of regulations for, like, obviously not for competing, do you think there should be like rules and regulations for like just riding in general? I don't know how that would ever be
You would
policed,
have
but
no body for it, that's the thing.
Yeah.
but do you think, I don't know what way you would even do it, just like
Everyone needs to get like spur licenses, but like
yeah,
bridle
yeah, like
licenses.
that kind of thing.
I do think there needs to be like a vet check for people before they buy horses, but you can't
Do
body that.
Some people have more money than sense as well. Like
Exactly.
if they want to buy a horse, they're buying a horse.
Yeah.
I think that when you're maybe buying a
Literally
bridle,
Barry, he wants to buy a horse, by the way.
oh my god, Jay,
More money than
He wants to
sense.
buy Benny.
he wants to buy Barry, he wants to buy himself.
He said he wanted to ride Benny one time, and I was like,
Yeah, like when we said about the boyfriend's riding the horses, he's like, I'm riding Benny. I was like, okay.
All right, you enjoy.
none of
Have-
these guys want to do it. Barry.
You enjoy intensive care.
But did you think maybe when you're buying bridles, they should come with like a booklet to how to fit them?
Yes. And I think
That'd
that
be
is so easy because you get them on that little bit of cardboard. All
Yeah.
you need to do is, like, do you know when you buy like a knife and it comes in the plastic?
Yes.
This little slip a little piece of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the instructions, how
Yeah.
it should look, pictures where, like you says, where the buckle shouldn't go past.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
noseband should be able to fit like 2 fingers, flash should be able to fit 2
Yeah.
fingers, things
Yeah.
like that.
And if
And
you
that's
go
so
home,
easy.
Four, yeah, 4 or fist, isn't it? Four
yeah,
or
it's
fist,
it's a fist and then it's a
Yeah.
noseband.
yeah.
And I
I've
think
never actually heard the fist one before.
really,
The bottom of the throat lash, or you can do 4 fingers.
I'm a 4-finger.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. It
I
was
know where
fist.
mine goes though. Like, do you think when you're putting your bridle on often?
You see your mark
yeah,
in the
you
leather.
know where it's going.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there
that
should
would
also be a rule though, that if you've bought this bridle and you've looked at the sleeve flat and it doesn't fit, bring it back.
yeah,
It's okay.
That'd actually be a good thing. A bridle fitting leaflet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it was on like VHS or something, you could print it out yourself, or you could scroll
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and see something like that would be good.
Yeah, definitely.
Guys,
Are we
should
smart?
we start a petition?
Yeah.
I'm not qualified in that field.
I think that's everything I had to say about tack anyway. Basically, I feel like, again, it all comes down to social media, but I feel like social media is influencing bad tack.
Yeah.
Illy fitted
People
tack.
Doing it
are
for the photo.
Like you said, illy. Ill fitted tack.
there's like people riding in bad saddles, and then people are like,
But
oh,
it's hashtag spawn, so it's fine.
oh, your
Yeah.
saddle doesn't fit, and they're like, leave me alone, stop hating.
Oh yeah, they snap back.
And then like this, then all the wee defenders are like, leave her alone, her saddle fits, she got it checked, and then they're going and riding their
But
horse.
then I'm proof that I had my saddle checked by saddle fitters and it didn't fit.
Yeah,
So-
second opinions are needed sometimes. Sometimes people can see things that you can't see.
And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with asking a professional for a second opinion. If they're confident enough in their work,
Yes, they
there's not an
shouldn't- They
issue.
shouldn't be against
Yeah,
it.
exactly. If you have a professional saddle fitter or anything, vet anything, and you say I want to go ask somebody else, if they panic, that's a red flag.
Go to someone else.
Yeah, let's gallop on into the listeners take the reins.
Yes.
Listeners take the well-fitted reins. So the listeners take the reins section, we asked a few controversial opinions on controversial pieces of tack. So here is what the listeners had to say on those various things.
Froshin the Rookie on TikTok said, from working at a therapy centre, you'll be surprised the amount of horses that came to us with issues, all stemming from poor saddle fit, and the issues either disappeared or got better with correct fit. Jenna Tills on TikTok said, I hate grackles. There's no difference between them and flashes, just completely unnecessary. Cara and Rhea on TikTok said, people need to be more careful about who fits their saddle. The amount of ill-fitting saddles in this country is astounding and horses are suffering. Shannon_C on Instagram said, hating on draw reins is a trend, but don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest fan.
And pony game, pony game, pony game, pony game, yeah.
Pony game, pony game, yeah.
I think we should probably just pay someone.
Oh. Hi guys, it's me.
I would intro pony game just in case.
Hi,
Hi
am I still
guys,
crying?
it's me. Welcome to, I'm only on 9%. Welcome to the pony game segment. Our phone died and we had a moment, so if we look a little bit red-faced and teary, it's because we were laughing very hard. I'm going to give you a bunch of different tack.
Probably a bit of tack.
It's gonna be ill-fitting tack.
Yes, the tack is ill-fitting.
Wait, name what part of the tack?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm going to give you like the symptoms. Okay.
Symptoms?
Yeah, like
Symptoms.
a horse will be displaying this issue.
Yes.
Okay.
Tack. Yeah.
And yell it out fast
Bing bop bop.
Nope.
and not too loud so we don't blow the mics. Okay. Problem 1. There's 2 things in this, you can't shout till I finish talking. Okay. Bucking going into canter, white hair growing behind withers.
Saddle fit. Illy fiddles. Illy.
I feel like that was you. You said in slow motion. She spent more time going,
I don't think I can remember what it was called.
Saddle.
okay, 1 point
Yeah.
to Robin.
Thank you.
Okay. 3 things to say here. Tossing head when you pick up contact, opening mouth, rubs on corners of mouth.
Fit. Ill-fitting bit. Probably a bit too
Ill-fitting
small
mood.
or big.
We don't, I just have wrong bit written in capital letters.
I got that point.
You did. Okay. That's such a stupid clue. I wrote these, like. I'm going to leave it till last, okay. 2 things to say here on this one. Small sores or bald patches behind elbow. Girthy.
Girth.
You just give us the
I
answer.
know, I had that first thing I had
You
was
went
girthy horse.
Girthy.
Why did I say that? That was me.
Oh, girthy.
Next one. Uneven, sweaty and dry patches on horse's back when you unsaddle.
Saddle.
Don't give me puppy I actually don't know. Rock, paper, scissors, that one.
Wait, rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Yeah.
Or rock, paper, scissors?
Shoot.
No, shoot.
Okay.
Oh, Ellie won that one. Okay.
I'm on a winning streak today.
This one's kind of specific. Reluctant to lower head, sensitive behind ears.
Bridal?
No, I said I was going to say headpiece.
Both correct. I have bridal sore pole as my answer.
I would say headpiece then.
Okay, well then you won.
Thank
You just told me to make you win. You were like, I would say that.
Yeah. Thank
and
you,
I was
Louise.
easily manipulated.
So
Thank
I
you.
think technically I won.
No.
Okay, he's gonna have a point each.
I won.
Okay.
Ping ping, that's them all.
No.
So who won? Me?
I can't remember.
Yeah, you won by 1 point.
The rock, paper, scissors really got me.
I'll get you next time.
I never get to play.
You literally said you don't like playing. You like making the
Let me
games.
do it.
Yeah, I'm just controlling, but now I want to have fun.
Okay, we'll swap next time.
Yay!
You-
Then I'll lose and I'll be sad and I'll give me my pro back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. Anyways, so thanks guys. We have been the Sassy Mares and I have been Amy. You can find me on @AmyCopa on TikTok.
And I have been Robin, and you can find me at Robin Hartley on TikTok and RHJoJumpin on Instagram.
And I've been Ellie, and you can find me at Ellie and Ralph1 on Instagram.
You can find the podcast on @the Sassy Mares on TikTok and Instagram, or search up the Sassy Mares on Spotify and YouTube.
But you already know that.
Because you're already there. Thanks for slurping up this episode.
Woo.
Bye.